Welcome to Heartland Arms, where skill, safety, and training all come together. I'm Michael, and today we are going to go over a couple different options here for you. We're going to go over concealed carry versus open carry. Well, we're going to go through the differences, what's right for you, and kind of go over different things for these. So whether you're preparing for your daily carry or you're just learning laws, it is important to know what each method involves and how to carry responsibly in public. Okay, so concealed carry, this means you're carrying the firearm on your person in a way that is not visible to the public. Okay, this is the most common way to carry for self-defense, especially in populated urban areas. The benefits for carrying concealed: it keeps your firearm discreet. It avoids alarming anybody around you. And it kind of helps keep that element of surprise if you find yourself in a defensive situation. All right? So in most states, this does require a valid concealed carry permit. If you live in a constitutional carry state, then you can carry, depending on their laws. Always look up your laws. Knowledge of your local laws and on where you can and cannot carry is really, really important, okay? And then you also need a reliable holster designed for concealment and comfort, okay? You don't want something too bulky. You have to find something that fits that criteria. Concealed carry mindset. It's all about blending in, okay? You still have to stay aware, but you're wanting to be more deceit. You're not showing off, or you don't want any invitation. You're not inviting that unwanted attention. You're simply blending in. You don't want other people to know you're carrying. You'll also hear stuff about printing. That matters as well. Printing means that they could kind of see the outline of your firearm underneath your clothes. So this means, the type of clothes you have to wear is kind of what you have to deal with there too. If you're wearing tight-fitting clothes, that's going to show off. People are going to say, yeah, I can see that there, even if it's under your shirt. Open carry is when you carry your firearm clearly visible to others, okay? This is usually carried on your hip in an outside of the waistband holster. We talked about that in the holsters in the last show. Some states, you have to look up whether they consider shoulder holsters. If it's like this and it's a shoulder holster, technically that could be seen. If it's not hidden, it means it's open carry. All right? Some states allow it freely, other states restrict it or regulate it, so you have to check with your laws. Now, benefits of open carrying. It does allow for a faster access to your firearm, okay? It sometimes is more comfortable for, depending on your body type, climate, if it's summer and you're wearing, less clothes, yeah, that could be there. You also don't have to worry about printing or clothing adjustments. So you don't have sometimes you have to wear baggy shirts if you're concealed carry. If you're open carry, then it's a little bit different there. Now, there are some drawbacks for open carrying. Some places they're not used to seeing a firearm open carried. That's just what happens. So others may become concerned or get alarmed that there's a firearm around them. It can attract some unwanted attention. It can also make you a target. It also does require extra training and retention and situational awareness. So that's typically you want to have some type of strap that's going to hold the firearm there, or some extra training that if someone tries to grab it, on how to keep that firearm out of their hands and things to do for that. You also have to take in consideration some of the legal considerations here. So Each state has different laws where you can carry, how you can carry, whether you need a permit. If your state allows open carry without a permit, if you can carry in a vehicle, in restaurants, can you carry in open building in government buildings, whether it be open carry, concealed carry, what no gun signs mean in your state. There are some signs that will say no open carry. Some will say no carrying of firearms at all. Understanding what those signs mean, what you have, what do you have laws on there that says if they have it posted you have to follow those, or is it just a recommendation? How law enforcement will respond to you open carrying a firearm too. That will depend on the area that you're at. If you're in a rural area where, yeah, they're used to people carrying firearms, that's one thing. But if you're in a state where it's not normal to do that, it's legal, but it's not normal, understand that law enforcement may approach you for that. Always keep your hands up and keep your hands away from your firearm. Don't do anything like that. Now, some states will require different training or permit types depending on if you're open carrying versus concealed carry. Make sure you understand what those are as well. And you always want to stay informed and check your official state websites or the current updated laws. Any questions, don't take my word for it. Consult a qualified attorney. Make sure you reach out to someone for something like that. Now, there also comes concealed carry is going to have different gear that you're going to focus on and different training than open carrying. So for concealed carry, you should focus on a slim, secure holster, like a inside the waistband holster or an appendix carry holster. Make sure that you have the proper concealment clothing, which means you might have to size up your clothes a little bit so it's a little baggy to help hide that. Make sure that you have trained a smooth, consistent draw from under those garments. So you have to practice from a concealed purview there on how to draw. Now for open carry, you want a very strong outside the waistband holster with active retention. That could be a retention strap. It could be some holsters have where you have to twist the firearm a little bit to break it to come up. There's different things that you can do there. You want a nice sturdy belt to prevent the firearm or the holster from shifting or sagging or anything like that. And you also want to train in gun retention and situational control. You can get training. Reach out to your local range to do that. I know here in Omaha, Nebraska, there are several different ranges that do offer training. I would recommend, seeking them out. Regardless of how you carry, you should always practice your draw, and you should practice reholstering regularly. That way you are very safe, controlled, and consistent. You also need to know your surroundings, okay? Knowing your surroundings make a big difference. And generally, you always want to stay calm and courteous, especially when you're in public. If you have a firearm, I would suggest being polite to other people. You're rude to someone, they might say, "Yeah, this guy was rude to me. I want to make sure that I'm going to call police and I'm going to say, yeah, he's carrying a firearm. I just saw this guy carrying a firearm, and you know what? If you have a bad attitude, you're going to get in trouble. I'm telling you that right now. If you are nice, professional, and you come off as a nice person, less likely are those people saying, I'm going to call the police on this guy and I'm going to have them harass him. People do it. It does happen. Keep that in mind. Now, the choice between concealed carry and open carry depends on your lifestyle, the environment that you're in, your experience and your level, the level of experience that you're at, your comfort level, your local laws on what you can and can't do, and how others around you react. So, I have been known to conceal carry. I have been known to open carry. It depends on the situation, where I'm going and what I'm doing. If I've been into a place quite a few times, especially if they know me there, and they know what kind of person I am, and I have a good rapport with the owner, the workers there, I could switch it up to go from concealed carry to open carry. That's generally not a bad idea, to make sure that they know who you are, because when I go in there and say, "Hey, Michael, how's it going?" and they're used to seeing me every week, if they saw me with a firearm on, I might get some questions on it. And I'm like, "Hey, do you I normally don't see you carrying open." "Yeah, I normally carry concealed, but I was running around. It was hot outside. I'm just open carrying today." They kind of know you already, so you have that rapport. You could kind of maybe make that shift. Keep that in mind when you're doing this. Most people start with concealed carry because it's more discreet, less likely to cause any concern in public or anything like that. But open carry can be, it could be effectively done if you do it responsibly, especially in rural and training areas. So if I'm going to if I know I'm going up to the shooting range, I'm going to have open carry up there. I may, now if the firearm's loaded, there are rules when you go in there. Okay, that firearm is not going to leave that holster until I'm actually on the firing range. That's for that one. I may have that one on me and loaded, and then I may just be shooting a different firearm that I'm just going to have up there. That means this one's never going to leave the hip. That could stay there. I've been there. I've done that. I'm not shooting this one. It's going to stay there, and I'm not going to move it or budge it. I am shooting this one today. This is what I'm shooting. This is what I'm going to do. This one on my hip is not going to go anywhere. And then when I'm shooting at the range, maybe I'm just practice shooting and I'm not going to actually holster. Maybe I'm just target shooting. I'm going to lay it down on the counter, and that's what I'm going to do. Regardless of your situation, understand that carrying a firearm is a responsibility, not just a right. The Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms, but it's also a responsibility. It's all about being prepared and not being a show-off. That's taking a firearm that's unloaded and taking your friend to the range to show him a firearm. That's one thing, and say, "Hey, look," or "Hey, this is what I got." You don't do that at the gas station or the supermarket or anything like that. The firearms are you have to be, you don't show off in those environments. So always keep that in mind when you're going through there. Keep in mind that both concealed carry and open carry are valid options, but each comes with its own responsibilities, risks, learning curves, potential people seeing you with it if you're open carrying. There's things that you have to take in consideration, okay? The most important thing is to stay trained, stay legal, stay safe. No matter how you choose to carry, you want to follow those guidelines. And always following the 4 laws of firearm safety. Make sure you like, subscribe on all our video platforms for this, our podcast platforms, and subscribe on our social media like Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. The more support we have, the more we can do videos like this. It's not, our videos aren't always going to be about shooting. Yes, you're going to see us shoot. Eventually we're going to get on a range. Eventually you're going to see us with targets. Yes, we're going to showcase some firearms here. Is every episode? No. Are we going to have, sometimes training weapons here that are non-firing weapons? Yeah, because we are all about education. We're all about keeping people safe and being smart about being a firearm owner. So no matter your experience, keep learning, stay safe, and be ready. Thanks for joining us on Heartland Arms. We'll catch you on the next one.